I'm Archana Patel. I was on the Indicore staff from 2005 to 2007, and in addition to supporting the fellows in the field, I also helped create what is now Teach for India as part of an initiative to help create volunteer opportunities for Indians in India. You know, when I think about what stands out for me the most as I continue my own work, long after my time in India, I think it's the really transformational power that relationships have. And I think that as we think about community immersion and getting to know people across difference, that can start to feel a little cliche. But I always go back to this experience that bridged for me my personal world, my sort of service journey, and even some things about myself that I discovered along the way in my time in India. So I lived with Pikabhai and his family. So he had a small home that had been given to his father by Gandhiji as part of Gandhiji's desire to ensure that all people in India, even those who were so-called untouchable, had access to basic human goods. So I lived in their small home. It was one room divided into 3 sections, a little foyer, a living room, and a kitchen with an outdoor bathroom. It was Pikabhai and his wife, his 2 small children, and his mom and dad and me. And it was amazing. I lived on the floor with them. I slept on the gadis that we rolled out every night and then put them back up. I helped with the cooking and the cleaning and the grocery shopping. And more than any kind of experience, it just became a family for me, which was really amazing. Concurrently, though, I had family of, genetic family in India. I had cousins that I didn't know all that well, but felt a lot of affinity for because they were family. And it was really amazing to get to know them in my time at India. But one thing that became really clear to me was that they were really uncomfortable with my living arrangement. Even though it was the year, 2005, even though they were upper middle class and supposedly progressive, it was, they felt a sense of fear and a sense of shame around the fact that I was living with what they saw as a family that was well beyond our status, particularly as someone who'd come from America. It was a really hard thing for them to understand why when they had a home and I could sleep in a bed and have running indoor water, I would choose to live with a family that had it much harder than them. And I think where I really learned something about myself that I wasn't proud of was that I had a really hard time coming up with the right way to explain not only why I did it, but why what they believed was such a problem. And I think of myself as someone who is very confident, who can articulate her principles really well, who knows what she's about. And I found that when it came down to it, when there were these people who I knew cared about me, who had good intentions, who were equally confident in what they said, I hesitated to hurt their feelings. While I didn't say something directly, what I did do was continue to fiercely commit to the relationships with my host family and my biological family. And in doing so, they became attached to me. And because of their affinity to me, they were willing then to push their own boundaries. So when it came time for me to get ready to come back to the States, my host family, who I'd gotten really close to, was really sad, and they really wanted to throw me a goodbye party. I mean, that's all they wanted to do. And this is a family that had very little resource that I was doing my best to contribute to, but they would sort of push away anything I tried to offer them at any given time. And they wanted to throw an all-out bash. And so, for weeks we were preparing, we were making rotla, and we were doing rangoli, and we were finding sort of new clothes and saving up for them. And it was gonna be like the bash of the century. And their only wish was that at that party, everyone that I had worked with in my time in India would be there, or that I had sort of gotten close to. And they knew that I had cousins who I'd gotten close to. And they had a really hard time inviting them. They were so nervous about the idea of inviting someone of this upper middle class stature into their home, someone from India of that stature. And it was only because of their affinity for me that they made the invitation. And not only did they say, let's invite them, they said, we're going to go to their home to make that invitation. And the most amazing thing happened. Not only did my host family find the courage to go, we got there, they made the invitation, and they, in their affinity for me, said, you are here at our home, come inside. So in this, they came inside, my family made them dinner, they stayed for 3 hours, they were talking about India and about politics and about Ahmedabad and about traffic and all the things that anybody talks to in this way that was inconceivable just 12 months earlier. And that for me will always be at the heart of how I approach any work that I do, whether it's service or just life. That, yes, we have to think about making scaled change. There's so many things that need to change right now. But really the only way that's going to happen is if we not immerse in community to check a box, but if we commit to getting to know people and to letting them become part of us, and then taking ourselves and helping bring other people together.